Well, the gang's all here. So, without further delay, broadcasting live from 54 degree downtown Cleveland, it's station WDWL TV, the home of not one, but two stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I am your host, the Grumpy Old Man, and by guest appearance, the Grumpy Jackalope is here again. Oh, I hear ya. And our show is brought to you by Grumpy Vulture Productions. No bow, that's it. See ya, bye. Damn bird. Replace you with an aardvark. I don't want to hear no mouthy thing tonight. That's because he's jealous of the jackalope. Because the jackalope gets first billing. That's because the jackalope isn't an asshole. You didn't hear that? Oh, shit. No, the goddamn CEO's office in the morning. Oh. So, how is everybody doing tonight? I have to say I am doing better because plunging them big, gigantic antibiotics down my throat twice a day, they appear to be working. Whoop, oh, shoot, my incest sticks fell over here. Yeah, Mary Ann gave me some incense sticks. She said they're cherry blossom. I think dead cherry blossom. Boy, do they stink. But I'll try them. I had to run up to the Indian store to pick something up I forgot to get yesterday. So I get up to the counter, and the big tall brother pokes his wife, and she runs out from behind the counter, and she picks up these package of, it says K&B sweetbread. Now, they look like those King's Hawaiian rolls. So he says, new product, you try. I looked over and I went, maybe next time. And the wife is holding him like she's doing a commercial. Oh, you like sweetbread, you like. I said, I'll try him the next time. And she goes, no, you try now. And I was about to say, hey, cut me some slack here. And he says, new product, you try for free. I said, okay, I'll try them. So I come home with a pack of, there's 6. They look like giant hamburger buns. And it says K&B product of India sweetbread. For free, they're worth a try. If I don't like them, I can always feed them to the squirrels or give them to Marianne. Every time they get a new product in, here, you try for free. But the wife she looks like, one of those women you would see on TV in a commercial. She's holding them up and she's got her hand under, oh, you like the sweet bread that you like. So, since I'm making my smoked applewood bacon wrapped pork loin, I will sop up the juices with some K&B product of India sweetbread. They look like giant hamburger buns. I didn't read the label, but right across the bottom it says sweet bread. So I'm kind of anticipating maybe them tasting like King's Hawaiian, because I have had King's Hawaiian rolls. I'm not so big on the bread because, I don't like a sweet tasting bread when I'm making a sandwich. That's why I get my rye, my Schwabel's Jewish rye. Well, just remember, Ron, and I was told this by a real estate agent. The first thing you do is you turn on all the faucets. You turn on both faucets in the kitchen. You go to the bathroom, you turn on both. If they have more than one bathroom, you turn on the faucets. And then you flush the toilet. And you check, first of all, water flow when the toilet flushes with the faucets going. And second of all, how fast the water drains in the sinks. And the real estate agent's going to go, what are you doing all that for? That's what a real estate agent told me. You turn both faucets on in the kitchen, you go to every bathroom, you turn both faucets on, and if there's more than one toilet, you flush them. And then, like she said, if there's ceiling fans, you test each ceiling fan to make sure that it goes in all three speeds one direction. Then you reach up and you flip the switch and you make sure the fans go the other direction. Because the last thing you want to do is get into plumbing problems or having to replace ceiling fans. Matter of fact, she told me you bring a nightlight with you and you plug it into each socket to make sure every plug works. Because she said that is the way she goes through a house before she does a listing. Hey, TV's here. Hail, hail, TV's here. From God's country up in Michigan. See how catchy I made that rhyme? And sang it to the tune of Alabama Jubilee. Kathy's going like, oh, Jesus Christ. Salute. Oh, oh my God. Is it ever gonna? Man, oh, right back here. Oh my God. Well, we are always honored to have you here. Boy, I'll tell you, we have people from, you know, I'm stuck in Cleveland. You're up in God's country in Michigan. Kathy's down in God's country in Tennessee. And Ron is out in the devil's oven out there in Arizona. The home of triple digits for at least 30 days straight. What was it, 45 this year? Triple digits, wasn't it like 45 days? I can't even imagine walking out to my car. Well, people don't shop during the day, but I mean, it would be like dummy me. I'd have to run up to the local, shopping center at noon. It'd be 115 degrees. I'd get in the car and immediately touch the steering wheel, and the skin would burn right off my hands. My ass would be on fire. And then halfway home, the air conditioning had quit. That'd be my luck. I just cannot imagine living in them. Well, people don't. Their houses are air conditioned, so they sit in the house until like midnight. Then they go grocery shopping because the temperature has come down. Too bad the stores aren't open 24 hours a day, because it would be a lot cooler shopping like at 2 in the morning. I just cannot imagine living in them temperatures. Every single car in the state has a remote start, and people have their air conditioner on high. They sit and they wait for about 20 minutes and go, okay, the car's cool enough to get into now. Matter of fact, speaking of Arizona, I was about halfway through an email to my friend out in Scottsdale when I had an internet failure. Everything just went whoop. Luckily, the way Spectrum operates, they immediately sent a text message telling me, which I already knew, that there was internet failure due to some power outage somewhere. And then they said, we don't expect service to be returned back up and running until 7:30 p.m. And I'm like, oh shit, how am I going to tell people there ain't going to be a show tonight? Because I don't know how to send an email on my telephone. We've had smartphones for how long, and dumbass Grumpy still don't know how to send an email off his phone. And then next thing you know, it was about, I don't know, 4:30, 4:45. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a blue light glowing under the console. And I was like, holy shit, the internet's back going. So wherever the power outage was, it got fixed, thank God, a lot faster. So I went to court videos, and the first video I watched was good old Lake County Judge O'Donnell. And boy, he was lambasting this guy, calling him an ass-ache. Not once, but about 47 times. All right, Ron, I hope that your partner shows up and that you guys finish at least like second or third. It would be nice to finish first. Keep us posted. You know, TV, I have to confess, I haven't really been on your YouTube channel for quite a while. I'm guilty. I used to check it on a regular basis. I don't know why I haven't been. It's in my favorites. God, all I got to do is click on it. Of course, it only took me like a week and a half to bring the model kit in to show everybody. Yeah, this weekend I'm going to take a trip to Michael's and see if they have paint. I know they'll have all the brushes. They have the glue. But for some reason, they're not mentioning paint, which makes me a little nervous. Because then I'm going to have to, there's a couple of online hobby shops. I'm going to have to start contacting them because I need the paint. Before I start working on this kit, I need to paint all the parts. Because I still remember every single part that I painted and detailed. Because I like my model kits looking as true to realistic. I even take and I paint a little brown and black smudges on the mud flap so it looks like there's the vehicle's actually been used. Matter of fact, if I really want to get detailed, I'll take and I'll kind of brush the edges of the tires. And even the rims, so the vehicle looks like it actually came out of a mine. As a matter of fact, when I built that bulldozer kit, I went to the hobby shop over in the train section, and I got this stuff that looked like a combination of mud and weeds, and I put it across the blade to make it look like it actually had move some earth. I get real OCD about, although every one of my models that I ever built looked perfectly detailed. Just like the tow truck. I even kind of painted a greasy handprint on one of the tool compartments. That's getting real OCD. I used a brush that had about 3 hairs in it. Yeah. I don't think I'll get that detailed. I'm too old for that shit. But all of my kits used to, like if a truck kit or something came with a floor jack, I always painted like grease on top of the floor jack, you know. I'd put a decal on, whatever the name of the floor jack would be, and then I would kind of scrape a couple of the letters, look like it got banged on the chassis, you know. Grumpy ain't going to get like that with these kits. No. But you know, I never wanted a kit to look like it was just a piece of plastic sitting there. What the hell do they call them things? Dioramas or something? I even had bought a couple of them, like a gas station one, and painted grease stains on the floor. And I ain't getting that, no. Went to the train section and bought, you know, like a tree for the corner of the building, and ivy growing across the side, and all that shit. My mother, what is this crap? Yeah, I go home one day and I was like, I got the room set up. I'm ready for all my model kits. And I looked, like, where are they? I threw them away. You what? Boy, if there was ever a time to commit murder, was I pissed off. That was almost as bad as when she threw my baseball card collection away. Because I remember I had a pristine Mickey Mantle rookie card. Absolutely pristine. I go up, I open the closet, look on the shelf, I went, where's all them shoe boxes with my baseball cards? Oh, you're too old for that shit. I threw them away. The money that I could have made off them baseball cards, and she threw them away. You know how much goddamn bubble gum I had to eat to get them baseball cards? And that bubble gum was always a flat piece that you would stick it in your mouth, and it would be there a half an hour, and it still wouldn't be softened enough to chew. I don't know where they got that gum from. Some closed warehouse down in Mexico or something. God, that shit was always brittle. Brittle and brutal. Oh, God. Blah. Pooey. Yeah, mothers just didn't understand our collecting back in the day. Yeah, she give me this shit. You're too old for baseball cards. Oh, yeah, that's why they have big conventions. God, now there's conventions for every goddamn thing. I have a friend that collected comic books. And every time there was a new issue, he bought two. One to read, and then one to put in an acrylic or plastic folder, and then it went into a banker's box. And man, when he told me the money that he made from going to a couple of them comic book conventions, holy shit. God, he sold one comic book for $1,000. And he had a shitload of comic books. But every time he would go up to the store, he bought two. And one immediately went into like an acetate folder and into a banker's box. And then he read the other one and passed it around, you know. And he even made money off of the ones that got passed around among his friends. Of course, you know, we never beat the shit out of the comic books, but he made so much money off of comic books, he actually paid cash for it. What the hell did he buy his car? What the hell did he buy? Because Ford even stopped making it. The hell was that? An Excursion. It was a Ford Excursion. It was like a giant Chevy Suburban. Had a diesel engine in it. And I mean, he went, God, he'd go 5, 6, 7 states. Wherever there was a comic book convention, he went. And made big money. Because you got to remember back in the day, there were, 5, 8, 10 different comic books being printed. So, you know, he'd get Marvel and whatever, you know. Luckily, his mother didn't throw his shit away. That's like my landlord. I grew up with him. And he collected... No, they don't make the excursion. They make the expedition and the explorer and the escape. They quit making the excursion like back in 2012 or 2015. Or whenever the frickin' gas prices went ungodly. Because the excursion was like a gigantic Chevy Suburban. Matter of fact, it was bigger than the Suburban. It was huge. It was built on a truck chassis. I can't remember what year they quit making the excursion. They didn't make it that many years. I know that. Because the excursion was huge. But he bought it basically, so we could carry 10,000 boxes of comic books. Because it was basically built on a Ford. The front of it looked like a Ford F-150. Because it had swing-out rear doors. It didn't have a tailgate. Because everybody made fun of him. A diesel? He said, yeah, I need it for the fuel economy. Which was lousy. Because like every January when they published where all the comic book conventions were going to be, he immediately booked rooms. If there were like 5 different conventions, he booked rooms in every city to make sure that he had, and then to buy, room for tables and that. '05. Yeah, I knew they didn't make them long because they no sooner started making the damn things and then the gas crunch hit. And now, every goddamn thing is an SUV. You can't buy a sedan anymore unless you go to a foreign car. I miss the Ford Taurus. I really do. Matter of fact, our district still has like 4 of them in service. They use them for traffic cars. They look like just a plain Jane black Ford Taurus. And there's a little itty bitty emblem on the front fender. Little police badge. Because he sits, when I bitch enough, he sits up the street and he watches people run the stop sign. I've given up bitching because he'll write like 2 tickets and then leave. All right. Hopefully your partner shows up and hopefully the trivia content isn't like off the wall where Nobody knows the answers. Gee, I'm trying to think. God, it's got to be maybe a year and a half ago. We had somebody that would come in on a regular basis that was a trivia player. I can't remember who it was. Don't get old. The mind goes first. Man, them incense sticks stink. Ugh. Cherry blossom. Sure. These must have been made out of the dead cherry blossoms. Well, that's right. God, whatever happened to Jenny? I forgot all about her. She kind of faded away into the woodwork. She used to be a regular. And I don't think I have her email either. I can't remember. Did she have health problems? I might be getting her confused with Linda, because I know Linda had some pretty serious issues going. Matter of fact, I should email Linda and see how she's doing. I kind of lost touch with her. I'll have to go through my email. I can't remember if I had Jenny's email. Yeah, I did. Didn't Jenny sell on eBay? I'm pretty sure she sold on eBay. If she did, I've got her email. I'll have to contact her and see how she's doing. Yeah, that's right. She's an eBayer. Good thing you brought her up, Kathy. I forgot all about her. I'll have to see how she's doing. She used to be here on a regular basis. Although it seems like everybody here has some sort of health issue going on. It sucks to be old. But I know Linda, she had some pretty serious issues going. Wait a minute. Note time. If I don't write it down, I'll forget. All right. Email Linda. Email Jenny. Now I just have to put the note in an obvious place. Thanks for reminding me. I forgot all about her. I think she got a little upset with me because she got that. Well, she had an Elvis album that I wanted. And it got sold out from underneath me. And then she went out and she found another one, but it was the one after. And I told her, I said, I've got that one. And what I should have done was just bought it, because I think she got hurt feelings that she went out and found this other Elvis album, not realizing that there were two. Because it seemed like shortly afterwards she kind of went bye-bye. Although it could be from her health problems too, so I'll email them both tomorrow and see how they're doing. But I know Linda had some serious shit going on. I can't remember, was she on dialysis for a bit, or I know she had, I think she had some serious kidney problems. Although I could be getting her confused with a couple other people I know that have some serious health issues going on other YouTube channels. About a week and a half ago, I caught one of Josh's lives, and Hippie was back, and he actually looked pretty good. I even said, Hippie, you're looking good, buddy, because Hippie was going through some serious health problems too. Matter of fact, I love Josh's live because the camera was back a little farther, and he was sitting on his couch. And his dog was on the end of the couch, sound asleep, snoring away. I can't remember his dog's name. But that dog was sawing wood. Although I have to ask Josh why he's not using the microphone I sent him. He's using his old one. Matter of fact, I was going to say something, because I sent him that fancy blue one. He's back using supposedly the old broken black one, which evidently the black one isn't broken. Not that I care. God, I have enough goddamn microphones. The one that really pissed me off was Izzy. She needed a microphone. I sent her one and never got a thank you for it. Although I think her and Josh kind of parted company too. Yeah, he looked good. He really looked good. Wherever he went, it worked, because Hippie looked good. He had a little fullness in the face, and his color looked good. I was happy to see how great he looked, because he wasn't doing too well. Whatever that eating problem was that he had, man, he was getting thin. And I was oh man, But when I caught that live and Hippie was on there, he looked real good. Yeah, whatever he did or wherever he went worked. Because I'll tell you what, he was looking like a bit of a cadaver the last time he was on. But he had good color. Matter of fact, he looked peppier. I was really happy to see how he's doing. Because I even commented, I said, Hippie, you're looking damn good, buddy. Because I know that's a tight-knit group. I haven't seen Jeff lately. I'm going to have to try to catch one of his. Although I think he runs his evening like right around our time. Hill Street Pirates or whatever he is. I haven't caught one of his lives in a couple of months. 3-4 months. It's been a while. Matter of fact, I missed the last couple of lives that Shiz ran. Although Scotto, he was using a picture. Although, so was shit. I hate when they do a live and they put a picture up. Although, usually Shiz is sitting in bed, so maybe she was in her pajamas, but Scotto, it was about afternoon time. Yeah, if you're going to do a live, do a live. Don't put a picture up. Although I haven't heard much about Todd lately. Although I stopped following him a long time ago. He drives me crazy when he's doing a live. He eats his microphone. Jesus Christ, he's all yanking. It's a microphone. It's not a chocolate-covered drumstick. He hangs on that thing like it's... Maybe the microphone's trying to run away from him. You buy a mount and you set it and you forget it. You don't have to keep yanking it up to your face. That's what they have a volume adjustment for. I don't know, maybe he's got the thing covered in chocolate or something. But yeah, when you watch Todd, he's always yanking that thing up in his face. Leave the mic alone. I just don't understand people that do that. I have mine set, although it is a little cattywampus, but it's okay. I know the mic should be, yeah, don't screw up the spit screen. Yeah, somebody emailed me about a week ago. No, a couple days ago. Your microphone's crooked. Yeah. And you can hear me, right? For some reason, this light I start turning. Why is that? See, I start turning blue. Damn studio lights. Although the one that's over good old Jackalope is a little too bright. There. That's better. There was too much of a glow around him. See, every now and then, I don't understand. You know, I shut the lights off, and supposedly they have a memory. And then I'll turn them on, and they're full bright, and I'm like, damn things. Like my on-air light. Every now and then it goes full bright, and it just blinds you. I wanted to bring the one over from Studio One, but it's so damn big, it would block out the Cleveland background, and I like my Cleveland background. Although I need to adjust myself to show more of the terminal tower, and who the hell cares about the old, no longer BP building? I remember this building right up in this area used to have a giant BP. And of course, when BP went back over to England, they took the B and the P. They took the B and the P off the building. Yeah, I remember it used to have a big BP on it. Or no, it wasn't up that high. No, I take that back. It was like over in here. BP. The B was up and the P was down a little bit. No longer. Once the lease expired, good old British Petroleum went back over to across the pond. Because they were the ones that bought out Ohio. People don't realize that. They forget. Ohio was one of the big refiners at one time. And then BP bought them, and all the Ohio stations turned to BP. And man, their gas is shit for mileage. I quit using it. Not to mention they were always more expensive. I've been going to Marathon and getting pretty, well, you know, until I get that car out and actually do some traveling like I used to. You know, I got some friends that I want to visit that live out in Strongsville, and, you know, one lives out in bumfuck Egypt, Vermilion, besides my sister. Then I can really gauge the mileage on that car. But until I legally own it, matter of fact, I emailed the attorney again today. Told her, I said, don't want to be a pain in the ass, but Is anything going on with the title to that car? I even told her. I says, I have a few things I need to get done, but the one suburb runs a lot of license plate reader cameras, and I don't need to get arrested. Kindly keep me posted. It's getting ridiculous. I bought that car in fucking September of last year. Although my license plate's still available, I check weekly. oplates.com. It's just, it won't have this logo, you know. It'll be spread out across the whole plate. So it'll be, you know, over here. WDWL space TV. I think the Passat will look cool with a real Ohio legal WDWL TV license plate. I just, I don't understand the judge in this case. All the attorney keeps saying is all he has to do is sign that affidavit. He signs it. The bailiff takes it down to the clerk. It gets filed. And then we're done. Bill brings the title with the affidavit. We go to the title bureau, and they sign it over to me. That's it. And why this judge keeps dragging his feet, I don't understand. And since I'm not, legally involved in the case, I can't even call. Because, the bailiff will go, who the hell are you? Well, I bought the car. Well, what'd you do that for? You can't buy a car without a title. Oh, tell me about it. The cardinal rule that I broke because I preach that to anybody buying a car. When you go to look at a car, have the owner bring the title out and make sure that the title is legal. Don't buy a car without a title. And what did I do? Bought a car without a title. Not to mention, had put almost $2,400 worth of repairs in it, and it still needs the window fixed. That's $200 more. And then I need to get the key cut and the key fob programmed. That's $100 more. I broke one of my cardinal rules. Before I bought that car, Bill should have had title in hand. Now, he did tell me he's got the title for the Corvette. That one is ready to go. All him and I have to do is haggle on price. Then I have to get all 4 tires aired up and get a flatbed to bring it over to the house. Yeah, because I'm sure Tennessee is the same way Ohio is. In order to get a license plate, you got to have a title. So they do like me. They take a license plate off another vehicle and put it on, and they pray that they don't get stopped. Another cardinal rule. I not only have a car without a title, I'm driving it with phony license plates. Oh, God. Oh, so Bill sells it to George. George agrees to make payments. George stops making payments, and Bill has a spare key, and he goes over and steals the car out of the driveway. You know, there's only been 2 or 3 times where I sold a car to somebody I knew on payments. And what I would do is I would go to the local office supply place and get a blank security agreement, like a bank does. And then it would get filled out, and then we would go to the title bureau, transfer the title, but I would be listed on the title as the lien holder. And what I would do is I would keep the spare key. And I would inform the person, hey, I'm telling you right now, you miss a payment, that car's going to be in my driveway. Because I'm like a buy here, pay here lot. I have every right to repossess that car. And I only did that 2 or 3 times. And I didn't get burned. I got paid, you know. When they made the final payment, I went, okay, here's the other key. See, all the buy here, pay here lots in Ohio, or I would say a lot of them, when they sell a car on payments, they install a GPS tracker. So if you quit making the payments and try to hide the car, they know right where it is. Because I know of 2 buy here, pay here lots just up the street from me that do that. They install, matter of fact, the one, The one will install a professional GPS tracker. Another one hides an Apple AirTag in the car so that they know where that car is 24/7. Yeah, the one guy told me, he said, we hide an Apple AirTag way up in the dashboard. He said, you'd have to tear the dash apart to find it. But they don't tell people. Because people will be tearing the dash apart to find it. But when you make your last payment, then they tell you, bring the car up here. Why? So that we can have our mechanic remove the GPS tracking device or the Apple AirTag. Although, like the guy said, the Apple AirTags are easier to hide than a black box. But yeah, they know where your car is constantly. Because if you quit making payments, first of all, they have a spare key. And second of all, they're going to be out looking for their car. Matter of fact, I remember an old neighbor of mine did that. And it was right at the beginning of GPS tracking devices. And he got laid off and got behind in the payments. And his wife went to Walmart to go grocery shopping. And when she come out with her cart full of groceries, the car was gone. She called the police. The police department said, did you buy a car from ABC Motors? Yeah. Well, that's where it is. They repoed it. Then she called me. Can you come up and pick up my groceries? Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to see the look on her face, pushing the cart out. Where's the car? I parked it right here. I know. It was in between the blue sedan and the silver SUV. It's gone. Back to the store. Can you watch my cart, please? I have a receipt. I didn't skip scan. Call home, you know. Her husband calls the police. Our car's been stolen. No, it isn't. ABC Motors came and picked it up. Oh, shit. Then he calls me. Can you go pick up my wife and the groceries? Yes, I would love to. Pick her and the groceries up. Got a little behind on your payments, huh? Yeah. Well, you learned a tough lesson. Did you bother to call the car lot and say, you know, Tom got laid off and you're waiting for your, you know, your check? No. Well, you learned a tough lesson, didn't you? And like I told them, I said, all you would have had to do was call a car lot and say, hey, I got laid off. I'm waiting for my first unemployment check. I'll come up and at least make a partial payment, good faith. No, you ignore the guy. The guy talks to his office manager. Anybody behind in payments? Well, yeah, Tom is. Where's the car? Walmart. Steelyard Commons. Tim, come on. We got to go get a car. Yeah, I got the key. Don't worry. Get down to Walmart. Hurry up. Unlock the door. Get in the car. Get it started. Pull out of the spot. All right, let's go. Put it back in the corner and park about 5 cars around it so they can't come in and try to get it. Then call the police. We just repoed a car. Then Tom and his wife are like, how did they know where it was? You ever hear of GPS tracking? What's GPS? Global Positioning Sensor. Yeah. And it tells them where your car is. Really? How do you think they found it? By luck? How do you think they got it? They had a spare key. By the way, open that bag of potato chips. Payment for picking your groceries up. Oh, man, couldn't you got barbecue? I don't care if you don't like barbecue. I do. What else you got there? Payment. But give me a can of Spam. I'll take it home with me. You think Grumpy did stuff out of the kindness of his heart? There ain't no heart here. Well, there is for blood flow, but not for feelings. 4 of my ex-wives discovered that. Oh! Salute! Pooey. Man, that stuff is, that generic is, It wakes my ass up in the middle of the night. I'm almost asleep, dry mouth, reach over, take a drink. I'm awake. Boots, give me a massage. Whoa, I shouldn't have said his name. He'll hear it. He'll be in here. The walking belly. Walks around like, his stomach thinks his throat's been cut. Feed me. Oh, he's a good boy. Pain in the ass, but although I don't know what got into him last night. He must have taken a run from the kitchen to hit the bedroom door. Door come all the way open, banged against the wall. Can't you just nose it open, you idiot? Then he looks at me like, what? It would be interesting trying the K&B product of India, sweetbread. I mean, they look like big rolls. I just hope they taste like it. Matter of fact, they look just like King's Hawaiian. But for free. Although his wife was, you'd think she was doing a commercial. Held that bag up and had her hand underneath like Vanna White, you know. Sweetbread, you like. How do you know I like? I never even tried it. You try it for free. Oh, okay. Then I asked him, I said, did you check and see if you could get another flavor besides mango? No, I forget. Well, check. Yeah, good idea. Because knowing the way some of that Indian stuff tastes, like when they gave me the Indian brand ramen noodles. Holy shit, I don't know how they could eat that stuff. God. And I wasn't even eating the hot version. God damn, it was flame going in and flame coming out. And the kids sit there and eat that stuff all the time. I'm like, God, that's like torture. I'll tell you what, I've had some hot food in my life. But eating Indian food, I'm trying to think. Now, I've had tandoori chicken. I like that. Although I'm not big on curry at all, but I'm trying to think the stuff that I had. I think it was called Vindaloo. Yeah, it wasn't the tandoori chicken. I think it was called Vindaloo. Oh my God. I'm surprised that shit didn't melt the goddamn aluminum pan that it was in. And they're eating it like it was ice cream. I took a big spoonful. I thought somebody burned my throat with a flamethrower. I was like, holy shit, what is that stuff? Oh, it's a Vindaloo. More like Van the Flamethrower. What, hot? Hot ain't the word for it. Well, tandoori chicken is, the sauce is bright red. Just looking at the sauce is enough to scare you. But it is quite good. But this, I guarantee he called it Vindaloo. This stuff was like eating molten lava in a bowl. Oh my God. And the whole family is chowing down on this stuff. I took one spoonful, I ran to the refrigerator and jammed a whole ice tray down my throat. Plastic and all. I was like, holy shit. And when you watch them cook, they start out with a little bit of spice, and then it simmers for like 20 minutes. Then they add something different, and that simmers. And then about 20 minutes, they add something else. And they have this ritual. Every 20 minutes to a half an hour, they're adding something. And then it simmers, and then they serve it. And it's like fucking lightning in a bowl. And curry, I can't do curry. One day they invited me for dinner and they were having curry chicken, and I was like, sorry, I don't do curry. And the interesting thing is, over in Great Britain, like we have, pizza shops, they have curry shops. It's strange how the Brits are hooked on curry. That would be the last thing I would think that would be one of their favorite foods. Now, they do have pizza, and their pizza looks just like ours. Well, they're not into the deluxe and the meat lovers and because I can remember a friend of mine, he's got relatives that live over in London. And they were visiting, I don't know where, the British Museum or some shit. And on the way home, he said, instead of stopping for a pizza, they all stopped for a curry. And he kind of insulted them and said, can we get a pizza too? Because he's not big on curry either. But I'm pretty sure that goddamn flamethrower in a bowl was called Vandaloo. It sticks in my head for some reason. Like it's stuck in my throat. God, my esophagus closed up. I couldn't breathe. Sweat was pouring off of me like somebody dumped a 5-gallon bucket over my head. Curry is a spice. It's a spice additive. And like, say we make chicken paprikash. And basically what turns it red is the paprika. But the paprika don't make it hot. Curry is not like hot, but it has got the strangest taste to it. And the Brits, curried chicken, curried beef, curried lamb, they love curry. I'm trying to explain, I'm trying to think of Nah, it's not like seasoning with dill. It's like seasoning with ragweed. I mean, some people love it. Not me. I think you can buy it like in the spice rack. Curry spice. But it's got a real strange taste. To me, it's like rotten egg. But like I say, tandoori chicken is good. It's like an Indian form of chicken paprikash. except it's even brighter red. And they add coconut milk. Like where we add sour cream, they add coconut milk towards the end. And it is, tandoori chicken is delicious. I wouldn't eat it daily, but it's delicious. But anything with curry in it, take my word for it, Kathy. Don't try anything curry. Now, every now and then, in the frozen food section, they will have like single servings of tandoori chicken. If you ever see it, try it. Because it tastes great. I really, that is one Indian food I like. But anything curry, no. And I'm going to have to ask the brothers if there's a dish called Vindaloo. For some reason, that sticks in my mind. It's flamethrower in a bowl. It's like Tabasco sauce kicked up 100 times. And I can eat Tabasco. But imagine it being 100 times hotter than Tabasco sauce. And dummy me, I took a big spoonful. And it didn't hit me until after I swallowed, like the cranberry juice. Man, I got up from the table, I ran to the freezer, I yanked out an ice tray and shoved it down my throat. Then they had to help me get the plastic ice tray out of my asparagus, Then they looked at me like, is it hot? And they're like, tastes all right to us. Sissy, I no longer have a larynx. You burned my vocal cords right out of my neck. Oh, that shit. Oh. I'm pretty sure it's called Vindaloo. I don't know how you would say babies. Vandaloo. I don't know, but that sticks in my head. Vindaloo. It was like Mount Vesuvius on a spoon. I'm surprised the spoon didn't melt. Of course, I didn't get too many dinner invites after that. I think I insulted his wife. But I told her, I said, you ever make tandoori chicken again, I'll be here. The coconut milk gives it a very interesting flavor. When I saw her with the cook pot on the stove pouring coconut milk in, I was like, oh, God. All I could envision was chicken that tasted like coconut. But it was good. As a matter of fact, in the grocery store, they have tandoori sauce. And it tells you how to, make a tandoori chicken. It comes in a jar. Because, now all of the stores have to be, multi-ethnic. You go in Mark's and, they got Chinese, Japanese, Polish, Indian, Bulgarian. And Giant Eagle is worse. They have a 60-foot aisle of ethnic food. And you just go down section by section, Mexican, Polish, Asian, Indian. They even have an English section. Oh, God, what did I do with the can? Oh, God, I'm going to have to go to Gigantic Eaglet and buy another can. It's a dessert. It's something like a sponge cake in a can. I can't remember how it tasted. I actually liked it. Brace yourself, Kathy. It's called Spotted Dick. I saw that can on the shelf and I said, this can't be for real. And it's an English dessert. And you heat it up. And it's good. But it's called Spotted Dick. I got to get some. Just for the can. I bought it. Actually, I wasn't going to try it. I just bought it for the fucking can. And then I tried it. And it was good. It was, like they have plum pudding. It's like a cake. Well, this is similar. And I can't remember what flavorings are in it. But it's called Spotted Dick. And I had the can for the longest time. When I moved, it probably got thrown out. I got to get some more. I'm like, of all the things you Brits could call food, a dessert item, and you call it Spotted Dick. Of course, they refer to that appendage as a wanker. Like cigarettes or fags. That one got me. I'll never forget when I picked my buddy and his wife up from the airport. They came over here to visit. And we got the luggage. And we were walking over to the car. And his wife said, I need a fag. And I went, well, I think the closest thing we got is the Hare Krishnas out in the front of the airport. She looked at me like, what? I said, well, what do you... A cigarette. I said, yeah, in America we call these things cigarettes, not fags. But over in Britain, these are fags. The slang term. I almost fell over when she said that. Damn, I need a fag. I guess I'll drop you off at the gay bar down the street then. Good old Spotted Dick. Now, as much as I hate going to Gigantic Eaglet up on 117th, I am going to have to go and get me a can of Spotted Dick. Just for the can. I had that can for a couple of weeks. I'm like, do I really want to try this? Then I read the ingredients on the back and I was like, oh, it's a dessert. And it was quite tasty. I wish I could remember how it tasted. And then I showed everybody the can. And they thought it was some kind of prop. I said, no, I bought this at Giant Eagle. They were like, really? I said, yeah, it's right next to the plum pudding. I almost bought the plum pudding because that can kind of scared me. Oh, you're late. The walking belly is here. He realized he was hungry. All right. I'll feed you. Like you could afford to miss a few meals. Oh, before I go. Damn it, I wish I'd have saved it. Oh, shit. There was a guy that did the complete autopsy report on Karen Carpenter. Holy shit. She was ingesting handfuls of X-Lax and drinking 2 or 3 bottles of syrup of Ipecac a day. No wonder she frickin' died. Because, you know, she started losing weight when one of the newspaper reporters called her pudgy. And she was so weight conscious that she got hooked on losing weight. And everybody told her, Jesus Christ, you know, you're skin and bones. And every time she looked in the mirror, she still looked fat. But they said she was drinking 2 to 3 bottles of syrup of Ipecac a day. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. She had a voice that could make somebody cry. And it's a damn shame because she was in her 30s. But she got so fixated on I'm fat that it just got out of hand. Because she had gotten out of rehab. And she had made the comment, I'm going to stay at my parents' house and kind of get myself back, because she actually wanted to start her singing career again. But she wouldn't eat. And her system just shut. She ended up, her heart ended up stopping. She had a cardiac arrest. Such a shame. But the guy went through the whole autopsy. It was sad because they said, like her internal organs were like all shriveled up. They had to literally introduce her to eating again because her system is shut down so much that the first time she ate like pudding, she threw it right back up because it was a shock to her system. She was screwed up for quite a while. Yeah, it's so sad. Just so sad. All right, peoples. Been a fun night. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night, the home of not one but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And we have the appearance of the Grumpy Jackalope. And with that, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you again tomorrow night. And see you one.